Hey UK Bills Mafia, this is Christian Wade of your Buffalo Bills. This is the Red, White, and Buffalo Blues, a UK Bills podcast with your hosts, Matt and Alex. Let's go, Buffalo! Woo!
Hello and welcome to a special breaking news episode of the Red, White and Buffalo Blues podcast, a UK Bills podcast. And we are going to be discussing the signing of Efe Obada, another British player making it two Brits on the Buffalo Bills squad. And quote, I believe it was Ryan Johnson who actually quoted it to us on Twitter, the British Bulldogs have arrived. Alex,
Yeah,
we've signed a 6'6", 265-pound defensive end, British born or British made. What's your feelings on that?
he is now the 37,000th Panther to have joined the Bills since Beane and McDermott came over here. I'm really excited for this one because I think what this is how to put this. He is what the culture that McDermott talks about. You know,
Hmm.
like this guy, more than anything, who he is as a human being, I think makes this team better immediately. Uh,
Yeah,
Nigerian born, moved to the Netherlands, and then people talk about how you'll hear the buzzword that he was trafficked to London, but he accounts that a friend of his mother's brought him to London and then abandoned him and his sister. So his path to the NFL started there, went through 10 foster homes, three franchises, on practicing and trying out before he signed his first contract with Carolina via the Pathway program. It's just, I mean, an unbelievable story. I mean, here's a guy who, taking care of his sister, had to fend for himself, and now, and it led him to the NFL. The heart,
yeah,
the will that this man carries is more important than football. I mean, he's just he's an outstanding human being, and I think
yeah.
it's just great that he can now represent the Bills, and just what he can bring to the locker room in terms of perseverance is just, it's going to be beautiful.
Exactly. I mean, he's a late bloomer to the sport. He only started playing it at the age of 22 for the London Warriors. You just think how far he's come in those. He's 28 now. In those 6 years, how far he's come from first starting out London Warriors, obviously playing for the Panthers, getting his first sack and interception in the same game, week 3 in 2018, in his first proper NFL game, and being awarded the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. And how far he's come really is testimony to what he's actually what he can become. And Marty Herney, the former Panthers GM, talks about this. He goes, he improves steadily every week. He actually gives you full effort, 100 miles an hour every day. Just wants to get better. He wants to make another jump. He is very good and a versatile player. He's played three tech and can kick to the outside. So he's a versatile chess piece, which we know that Beane and McDermott actually like on there, and he's coming over to familiar with familiar faces. Obviously, he's got Eric Washington, his former defensive line coach at Carolina and defensive coordinator before he came over. I believe he may have had no, he didn't have any run-ins with Beane or McDermott on there,
No, Bean knows him for sure.
but it's obviously he's got Eric Washington there, and obviously our guy Christian Wade. Sash, it's a massive scoop. And this is what Eric Washington told him. He said it's going to be harder to hold on to it than it was to obtain. And he knows how hard he had worked to obtain it. And if anything happens, he knows that because of the training he's received from Eric Washington, he can go anywhere and survive.
Yeah.
Now, if that's one thing you take away from him and his history, I think it's going to be a very, very good signing for the Bills. I mean, he's going to be a regular. He's going to be he's going to be a rotational starter. You know that's going to happen.
Those two things, you can't be a rotational starter.
A rotational player.
Rotational player.
Okay, rotational player, but
it's all right. We didn't have time to prep for this. This is off the cuff. This is off the cuff. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
But I mean, his season last year, he had 5.5 sacks, and he only started in one game. He played all 16, but he only started one game. He got 5.5 sacks. You're looking at the Bills, and last year, AJ Klein and Mario Addison were the top ranked sacks with 5 each, and both started 11 and 7 games. Jerry Hughes, 4.5 sacks, and he played 15 games and started 15 games. So you're getting production there. Yeah. And that's one thing that you're going to need on there. And maybe it actually takes away a need of defensive end in the draft. We won't know.
I mean, here's a guy, not to go all Chris Collinsworth on you, but here's a guy who his body is fresh. You know, he didn't go through high school in the college. He's not beat up. He's massive, he's talented, and he's hungry. He talks about how even at his age now, he still has demons internally that he wants to overcome. I mean, you're talking about the football. I just want to keep talking about the human being that he is. It's just so
we could go on a whole episode of it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we can go a half hour, 45 minutes on this. Just I'd love to be able to interview him and talk about his heart and his motivations and everything like that.
That's our aim. We're gonna attempt to get him on the show and also get him and Christian on the show at the same time, because I think that'll be a lava hoop.
For sure. Yeah, it'll be really great for me, so you guys can just keep using a little bit of your British lingo, and I can be like, what? Huh?
Yes.
But yes. I mean, on the field, though, I mean, this is a piece to provide competition to everyone else. Because when you look at just the stats, people love just the stats. Even though it's a half sack, he still would have led the Bills in sacks last year. Compare him to the bit pieces that we were, look at the production that we were able to get out of Shaq Lawson and out of Jordan Phillips, right? Players who came in and made impact. And I'm expecting that's what Obada could bring to us. Challenge guys, and that's the best thing. I mean, when you can motivate and challenge the other guys on the roster to be better, then everything, then the whole defensive line gets better because of it.
No, exactly right. I mean, it's good that he's actually in there. He's going to provide competition. If he balls out and actually has a blinder, then it's going to be an astute signing for it, and actually we're guessing him for what will be his prime years.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I say, he's 28 on there.
So you did.
I did mention it.
You did mention this though, but like, how does this affect us attacking edge in the draft?
I still think we will get an edge. I don't think it's going to be as high now. I don't think it's going to be round one. I don't think we can get a round one edge.
Okay, so cornerback round one then, yeah.
Potentially, and we'll talk about this on the next episode. But I do believe that we still will address it, but it won't be as high priority at the moment.
Yeah.
But we'll probably draft one round two possibly. To actually groom Addison and Hughes replacement on there. Sure. Yeah. And you can probably get Carlos Basham in that in the second round, which would be is a pick that most scouts and most Bills scouts would actually or scouts draft nuts would actually would like on there. But it's an interesting thing to see how dynamic goes. And before we wrap it up, we also had the other news that Beane waved his magic wand and actually restructured Tre White's contract.
Well, it's not magic. I mean, it's something that he's allowed to do. But it's about getting the players to buy into it. Did you hear about Tyreek Hill saying, "Nah"?
No, hear about it.
Tyreek Hill was like, I signed a contract. I got a contract. All right. Well, if you come asking, I want an increase, in the middle of your contract, don't be that guy. But no, this is part of the culture. We have
Yeah.
guys willing to do what they can to build a winning football team. And that's what
Mm.
Tre White did. And you'll love to see it.
Yeah. Saving $7.5 million on the cap.
So great.
And then you've got, obviously, you can restructure Diggs to add a few more onto
Possibly,
that.
yeah. More things.
And it sets us up well with the cap going up. But I think we'll try and get hold of FA, see if we can get him on the show anytime soon. It'd be lovely to actually chat to him and obviously bring him closer to us UK Bills followers and Bills fans watching us all over. Have you got anything else to add before we wrap up this
Yeah,
this breaking news?
if you're more interested in learning about Efe Obada, we will have links to a few articles in the description below. So check that out. And yeah, what a day again.
Exactly.
Always fun. Whenever
We're all
hell yeah.
super excited about it, and already looking forward to training camp back in June, July time. So for Alex, as Matt, keep subscribing, keep following, word of mouth spreading. Follow us at UK_Bills on Twitter, at RWBB_podcast on Twitter, Buffalo Bills UK on YouTube and Facebook, UK Bills on Instagram, and we'll say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for listening, and welcome FA, and go Bills.
Go Bills.